Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. Today I want to go over my favorite things to sell and favorite ways to make gil in Final Fantasy XIV. Now everything that's going to be in this video we've already went over in previous videos in the past, so nothing here should be a secret to you unless you're finding my channel for the very first time. Okay, so we're going to start off with the things I sell on the market board. Now these things are going to be from different patches, different expansions, but they're basically all the same thing. So let's get started. So the first thing on this list is of course food and pots. Now regardless of what expansion that we're in, what patch that we're in, pots and food will always be your go-to to making gil if gear fails to meet your expectations. So I'm using the grade 2 gem drafts of strength as an example because usually these are the ones that are used the most. Now, over the time, these will of course fluctuate in price, but currently we're going around 1738 for high quality. Now because these are on a 4-minute and 30-second timer, high quality or 5-minute normal quality, people will burn through these things when they're trying to progress through Savage or Ultimate content. And the sales history of my server shows that they always will sell regardless. Now the quantities, that depends on you, but a lot of people will go with stacks of 99. Same thing with the food. Same concept, a lot of people will use this even though this lasts for 30 minutes, an hour if you use 2 of them at the same time. So again, it's in the same boat as pots. People always will buy them in high quality or normal quality if they're using for leveling purposes or doing Palace of the Dead, Heaven on High, Eureka Orthos, and stuff like that for extra HP. So food and pots will always be my go-to over gear because gear is finite. Not too many people will need gear after they get their original ones, so food and pots will always be better off being sold regardless of what expansion that you're in. My next favorite items will be the sands, obviously. Each expansion we always get 3 specific sands for Fisher, Botanist, and Miner, and then 1 from all 3, which is the Sun Guild Aether Sands. These ones are used more than the other 3, which I kind of wish they would make the other 3 more useful, because it's only 1 per recipe. But as you can see with the Sun Guild, people do buy them in stacks of 99, because they use them for food, pots, and for whatever else they're used for. So I really wish that Square Enix would jack these up to more than just 1 per recipe. Even for battle gear, that's pretty damn low. But let's go over the other ones. So that's Myth Loam. And I never would recommend doing this. This is what happens when too many people think doing this is a good idea. These people will get undercutted and then they don't undercut back and it basically sits there. And of course they bomb the living bejesus out of these prices. And they still don't get what they need. As you can see here, 99 hasn't sold very often. So this person just basically screwed everybody else. Here's the Myth Root, same thing, 4,000 to 700, that's ridiculous. This person doesn't give a damn. But this person didn't end up buying the 99 out. Then you got the Myth Brine. The harder one to get, not too many people like Fisher. This is over 5,000. And people of course buy them, obviously. Usually they're used for feet pieces. So that's pretty much going to be the sands. Regardless of what expansion you're in, the sands will always be my go-to. Next is the script item condensed solution, or the solutions in general. And then of course in the 0.3 patch we get another material that is used to make the crafted set. So the condensed solution, or any solution in any expansion, is what my go-to is when these are available. I think during the 0.1 patches. So not too many hits on my server because people pretty much bought them all out, but I always make sure to add this to my guild guides all the time when it comes to specific jobs because it just sells and flies off the shelf, as you can see here. So yeah, condensed solution is definitely one of the things that you want to always focus on when you're trying to make a lot of gil. Next is of course the tombstone materials. Usually I stick with the pot materials such as glossy dried aether, but if you're starting out during the 0.0 patch when they first come out, you ultimately want to focus on each and every one, not just focus on one. Next are my dyes. You know how much I love selling my dyes. You get ruby red, pure white, jet black, pastel pink, which is kind of rare to find, and gunmetal black. These ones here are from Ishgard Restoration or Island Sanctuary. Pure white jet black, and pastel from the adventure coffers that you get from quick adventures with your retainers. It's a big toss up if you actually get these, but when you do, they make you a lot of gil. Pure white, half a mil. Jet black goes for almost a mil, and then pastel pink is around 100k. Ruby red, which is a kind of cheap dye to get, and gunmetal black, which is also cheap, but it's around 20k. So people do buy them because it does end up in the fashion report a lot. And then of course Ruby red is the cheaper one. The Fall Guys event does come up. These dyes, except the middle three, will pop up as well. But these are the ones I usually sell the most when it comes to making my job specific guild guide. So if you're lucky enough to get these three types of dyes, make sure that you sell them. You also can get them from the presents from the feats and Ishgard Restoration, and I believe Boja if you're lucky enough to get them through the lock boxes. Next is materia. So you got the red ones, which is crit, determination, and direct hit. You got gathering and perception. Then we got craftsmanship, CP, when of course we get new accessories, and then control. Now for battle materia, it's best to hold on to these during the 24-man raid patches, and then when the 8-man raid patches comes out with Savage, you sell these before the patch drops, or wait for the patch to drop when the prices will go up when people are buying them for their new crafted battle set. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Doing the hunt is the best way to get your crystals. Now for gathering and perception and of course the crafting materia, it's probably best to sell these during the 0.0 patch, and then of course the 0.2 patch when the new gear that comes out in the 0.1 patch comes out, and then of course during the 0.3 patch when the new final set comes out, and that's when most people will be buying them to meld their gear sets. But most people will meld their gear sets before the patch comes out when they have to meld their next sets. So this one's I'll leave up to you, but for battle always sell them before or during the Savage tier patches. So we have crit, which goes for 14k. I usually try to sell them in quantities of 5 because the lower amounts sell faster. And when it comes to these, just set them and forget them. Okay? These ones here are going for 14k, which is determination. And then you have your direct hit. I do not recommend selling one at a time because that's just stupid. A lot of people do that to flood the market so only theirs are seen, to have them more enticed to buy, so don't do that. Gathering, obviously they're going to be not as expensive because it's really easy to spirit bond these things by doing legendary nodes. And perception. And here is craftsmanship, which of course goes for more. CP, a little lower because once you have your accessories taken care of, you don't really need to sell these until 0.3. And there is control, which is a lot, because more control the better. And again, don't do what these people do. This is just ridiculous. A lot of the times, you're just going to get undercutted, and these are just going to sit there. So that's basically all the materia that I ultimately sell myself. And now for Ishgard Restoration. Since I was doing my achievement for my mount, I sold a crap ton of these items and mounts here. So the first one we had was the lean emote, which goes for 300k, which is not bad. And these emotes, I think it was like 180k scripts for each one. So they definitely are priced correctly, except for this person who clearly forgot a 0. You have the well-bred, or the bread emote. You had the read emote, which I use in a lot of my thumbnails, sometimes. And the good thing about these is that a lot of people are too lazy, so the prices do stay like this. So this is the insist emote, which is almost 400k. And then we have the broom emote, which a lot of people like to AFK with. So yeah, Ishgard Restoration definitely was a very lucrative pathway for me. And then we got the mount. So we got the Gazelle mount, which is 720k. It's ridiculous. They definitely were cheaper back then, back in this January. We have the Big Whistle mount, which is basically the big crab, bubbling Bernie, to give you an idea what they look like, which is 490k, which is not bad. We have the antelope doe, which is 700k, which is a lot. The male version, not so much, because you can get them through the tokens or the little presents that you get from the feats. Then you have the Ufidi, which is the gorilla, which is 460k, not bad, but they were definitely a lot cheaper. Then you got the albino ram for 450k. And basically that's it for Ishkar Restoration. And the last two things are the mounts from Pyros and Hydatos. So this one here is basically the red goober with the horns out of its mouth variant. To get these, you must get a gold chest from the bunny fates, and getting gold is like a very slim chance of that happening, and if you do get gold, the chances of actually getting these are even slimmer. Or you can get them from the lock boxes from the Stormblood ones from your Grand Company for 20,000 Grand Company seals. But the chances of that happening is just as low as getting them from Eureka. So they're going for almost 3 million on my server. Then you have the Manta Ray, which is almost 5,000 or 5 million. Same thing, it's coming from Hydatos. Hydatos is a hell lot easier to get. So if you want to chance it in Eureka, I recommend it, because the bunny chests do give you a lot of gil if you do get a gold, which is 100,000 gil. So these are all the things, or my favorite things that I sell, regardless of what patch and what expansion that we're in, because they're always in demand or always pretty lucrative in my honest opinion. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what to sell during your patches as well. And now for my favorite non-market board ways. So number one is going to be the submarines, which you need a free company workshop and a free company house. And I think it's 800,000 gil for the workshop. I don't remember, so be prepared for that. So you're going to be needing these cerulean tanks for the mammoth here, which you need free company credits just by doing any activity that involves playing the game, Grand Company, stuff like that, and you'll amass a crap ton of these points. So try to get a stack of 99, which is 9,900 credits. Now the submarines will start out with one, and as you go through different sectors, you'll unlock the other ones. There's a forum post that you guys can use that will help you unlock anything possible with the submarines. This will take you months to get ready to go, so be ready for the long haul, but when it is done, it is the most lucrative way of getting gil with a very little effort. Okay, so you're going to go through the deep sea site 1 here, and you're going for the unidentified derelict, deep sea site 4, discovery, the wreckage of the Discovery, and then you're looking for the wreckage of the Headway. These are the ones that will give you these items, which is called the salvage materials. These are straight up gil, kind of like clear diamond materia. There's gold, and then there's silver. There's a ring, earring, necklace, and a bracelet. So I have one submarine that has, I think, the best build, which is the Shark Pressure Hull modified, the Stern modified, the Soldier Class Bow modified, and then the Colencanth Class Bridge modified. If this is not the best build, please let me know, but I'm pretty much sure this is. So these materials that you're going to be getting, or items, are going to be very RNG, because it depends on RNG itself. But it's going to be called the salvage earrings, or the extravagant salvage bracelet, earrings, necklace, rings, and stuff like that. So this one here gives you 10,000 gil. The bracelet of gold gives you 28,500. The necklace, which is the highest, 34,500. The bracelet of silver, 9,000. The extravagant earring gives you 30,000. Let's see here, you have the rings, which is 27,000, and then the other one is 8,000. So what you get is, like I said, is going to be RNG. So you're going to have to do this a couple of times each and every week, and hopefully to get it big. So I got 7.1 million gil so far, but doing through this method. And they were always adding in more levels until we get spaceships. Fingers crossed for cosmic exploration, they finally give us airships to build in our free company workshops. Also, please, for the love of God, don't do what a certain someone does and start making a bunch of alts and buying all the houses on dead servers just because you can. One house is good enough for anybody. Okay, so that's one of my favorite ways of making gil without the market board. So my second favorite, of course, is the Grand Company doing duck bones, or if you want to sell on the market board, glamour prisms. Now, if you want to get those lock boxes that I showed you earlier or mentioned earlier, you want to get the captain rank, which is through the squadron system. You need second lieutenant to unlock the squadrons. So to make this the most lucrative as possible, get Seal Sweetener 2, which is 10%, or if you do not have a free company, use the Priority Seal Allowance through the squadron to get these manuals for 15%, which is the equivalent to a grade 3 action for 120 minutes. The free company ones last 24 hours. You need the captain if you want those lock boxes to get the Eureka mounts, which, like I said earlier. Alright, so expert deliveries, any gear that comes from dungeons, trials, extremes, savage, or crafted will appear here, and you can turn them in for Grand Company seals. Now, my favorite method of grinding the Grand Company seals is of course through Alexander, Burden of the Father. There are other ones that will become more viable when we get better gear in the upcoming patches, so make sure you do this unsynced by making that up here. Allows you to go in with whatever job and level that you're at without sinking you down. So if you're fast enough, you can do it with around 30 seconds. So take out the left or the right leg first. Attack the body next when it comes available. He'll do Mortal Revolution twice. You cannot dodge this. And you must do it before you can die. So even if he drops down to 1% or 0.1, he will not die. Once that is done, get your loot. So these materials here, you'll be passing them for loot. You always will get a body piece, and you always will get a leg piece every 2 runs. You never want to send these to a Grand Company. It's better off to vendor them, unless you're trying to go for something like glamour prisms, then pass them in. But these will always be better sold than passing them for duck bones, okay? So the pedal, the bolt, and the crank, which is feet, hands, and accessories, you will pass into your Grand Company. And again, the shielding to sell to a vendor for 47 gil. Now, you either can go to Ishgard or Idleshire. Idleshire is a little bit faster because there's less menus. Okay, so let's head over there now and we'll pass these in. So here we are in Idleshire. Talk to Sabina. Should be right about here. The first one, Guardian items. Pick whatever job. Probably best to do the job that you're on. And then you'll pass in your loot. So the body pieces are 978 gil. Leg pieces are the same thing. And the accessories. And because these do not count towards your dungeon allowance, you can do this as many times as you like. And then go to the next one and buy whatever is left over. Okay, so now let's go over to the Grand Company again, and we'll pass in all the loot that we just got. Alright, so we're back in my Grand Company. So I turned these in already, so you get 1203 with the buff, or 1093 without the buff. So once you're done with that, talk to your quartermaster under materials, and you'll find your duck bones. These all here will do the same thing, but duck bones just sounded better. Now, for a stack of 99, as you'll see here, you'll get 59,400 seals for 99. If you do the full 90,000 Grand Company seals, you should be getting around 55 or 54,000 gil for the max. If you don't want to do that, you can go for glamour prisms to get more gil, or if you're feeling lucky enough, like I mentioned earlier, you guys can do your lock boxes here for a chance to get in the mount and selling more. You also can get the other mount that is craftable, the flying chair, but the chances of that are probably better off than getting the Eureka ones. All the minions from these are garbage on the market board, at least on my server, so if you have them, you're better off using them yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to a vendor and pass these duck bones in. Alright, so we're at the vendor. Any vendor will do, or you can go through your retainer and just do this. I would also recommend going to the Dome Enclave first to get that done out of the way for the week, because you'll get 40,000 gil from them, but make sure that you don't overcap. So that is going to be number 2 of my personal favorites. And my last favorite is, of course, going through Eureka, doing the bunny fates. This is unlocked in Rogger's Reach at the Scrib Exchange front desk, and we shall call it Eureka. I'm currently working on the last sector, Hideoutos, so that's going to be coming out sometime in the future. So riding here at the Pier 1 in Kugani will take you to Eureka. You're going to have to go through Animos, Pagos, Pyros to get to Hideoutos, which is one of the best ones, but the bunny fates start here at Pagos. Be forewarned, if you don't get a gold, or if there's too many people doing the fate, sometimes you won't get a bunny. Alright, so we're going to be doing this through Hideoutos. Alright, so when you get into Eureka Hideoutos, you'll be looking for the bunny fate. It'll take some time for it to spawn, and if someone doesn't do their bunny, then the fate will never respawn until all the bunnies are dead, or the people have gotten their treasure. So ultimately you're going to get a gold. If you have the Logos actions, make sure you have the plate bearer, which is the tank one, so you guys will be able to survive. And then you can slide your other action with a cure, just in case you want to heal yourself or heal the bunnies, because if they die, the whole thing fails. So once you get gold, you'll be given a golden carrot that you must use to take yourself to where the treasure is buried. So once you get gold and you finish the fate, you'll get your carrot, put it to your hotbar for easier access. You'll use it and it'll tell you what direction to go. You'll have to use it continuously to find if you're getting closer and closer and closer. You literally have to be on top of the treasure for the rabbit to find it. You can get a bronze, silver, or gold. So it's 10,000, 25,000, or 100,000 gil. If you're lucky enough to get a gold, there's a chance that you will get the mount or other items. But the mount is what you ultimately are looking for. If the rabbit dies, you lose your treasure. Rinse and repeat until you're satisfied. Now, if you're doing fates, and of course the bunny fates, you also get lock boxes. These can hold random materials, materia, or clear or platinum elegant pieces, which you can vendor for straight up gil. So if you're doing your weapons and stuff like that, getting these lock boxes are definitely worth it. And then there's a vendor right next to them, which you can just sell them off for pure gil. Other than that, that's the Eureka method that I love to do every once in a while when I'm really bored. So that is going to be my third favorite way of making gil that's not through the market board. Now I do have others, such as the blue mage method with the vault, which I came up with first back in a couple of years ago. I have the leaf quest method, I have the bahamut method, a bunch of other ways you guys can utilize. But if you do the blue mage method, remember you only have 100 dungeon allowances per day before you get blocked out from the duty finder until the next day appears, so be very wary of that. Otherwise, check the rest of my channel for more Final Fantasy XIV guild guides, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys want to support my channel even further, consider becoming a YouTube member, Patreon supporter, or help me on Ko-Fi. The links for those will be in the description down below, as well as my Discord. And an extra special shout out to the members on screen. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging ahead.